Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Stahls TV Morning Show. I'm Courtney.
And I'm Josh, and I'm excited to be back.
Finally, first time this year?
Yeah, first episode in January. I've been on the road traveling, and so may have seen some of you on location at ISS Long Beach. You're not traveling a lot lately, huh?
No, I am staying put for a little while, yeah.
Yeah, Courtney's due date's approaching, so we'll be missing her for quite a few weeks towards the end of February.
Yep.
Hopefully. But excited to be back on the morning show, and I know you've been going through trends with different hosts. I believe Karen joined you last week, going through sort of blank apparel trends, design trends. And this week, we're excited to talk about business trends, trends in sales and marketing that can help your business. And then in addition to that, we're also going to be able to continue our series, Make It Monday, which has been started this year. And I love that series because we get hands-on at the heat press, teaching you a decorating technique or two every week. And so we thank you for joining us, as always, here early on a Monday morning. And before we jump into the episode, we always like to hit our look of the week, right?
Yep. So this one comes to us from Facebook again this week. So our Saturday show and tell always gets a lot of great creativity. And this one, Cassie Owens has submitted a design showing a multi-color CAD cut design with, I believe, CAD cut glitter flake and fashion film. So it just really lends to some of the events that we see people printing for at schools. And there's just so many opportunities with schools. We've shared some of them here on the morning show, but when you think of schools, people always think sports and spirit wear, but there's so many events that happen throughout the year that allow for a lot of personalized opportunities like this.
Yeah, 100 Days Brighter, referencing 100 days into the school year, which is a great sort of benchmark to do a customized tee. And then something you also saw in that image, in addition to the cool mixed media design, was the photography in the background was outstanding, just merchandising the look, which we'll talk a little bit about later. But thank you, Cassie, for submitting that, and congratulations on winning Look of the Week. If you too want to enter to win Look of the Week, there's a few ways you can do that. We'll flash those across the screen now. You can email those to tv@stahls.com and just attach the look with your contact information. You can also share them to our Stahls Show and Tell, which happens every Saturday on our Facebook page, Stahls All Things Heat Printing. And last but not least, you can tag us on Instagram at Stahls TV and enter to win Look of the Week.
We do love seeing those every week.
Yeah, and there are lots of really good concepts. So the Show and Tell is a nice place to not just get one look, but to look down through a lot of different options that will inspire you in your apparel decorating business. Speaking of being inspired, we've been on the hunt for, I don't know, I'd say a considerable time for a good wholesale blank supplier of bags. Now, our normal partners have a lot of bag offering, but there's this sort of trend in boutique looks and decoration inspired by, Lily Pulitzer, Vera Bradley, you name it. There are a lot of sort of trends in pattern bags and boutique bags. And we finally found a great partner to bring you wholesale bags.
We did, yeah. So we've been looking for a while for some of these gift bags, and Wholesale Boutique, which is wholesaleBoutique.com, actually has a variety of different bags. So that one would be a toiletry bag option, some makeup bags. I mean, there's a variety of bags for pretty much every market, a ton of prints. They bring out seasonal prints every year, so their spring line's just now launching. Some of these may have been from their fall line, and then also some leather satchels. And so we see a lot of people looking for these types of products specifically for monogramming. How can I print these with heat transfer materials and monogramming? And this allows you to have a lot of great blanks. And the cool thing about them is they're designed for embroidery, for personalization with a heat press. And so a lot of them have flat open areas, as we'll see in Make It Monday, to allow for easily personalizing the item.
Yeah, so a couple ways you could buy from Wholesale Boutique. Of course, you can apply to set up an account on wholesaleBoutique.com. If you're not quite ready to do the opening spend that they require of $250 and just want to try out some of their items to merchandise them, you can visit their other website, closeoutboutique.com, which allows you to sort of get styles that are still in inventory that aren't the latest season. But it's a great place to make some initial buys, try some products. But not only do they do bags, they have some apparel items. We've sourced some sandals from them. They've sent us just a box full of stuff to show you. And so you'll be seeing that throughout the spring here as we decorate those. And that'll lead us right into this morning's episode of Make It Monday.
right, thanks for joining us for another episode of Make It Monday. I've headed over to the Fusion Heat Press here to share one of the items that we wanted to print from Wholesale Boutique, and today I chose a larger duffel bag. The reason I chose this bag was for a couple of reasons. One is it allows us to see a lot of the challenges that we see when we're printing bags or other things like this we want to personalize, and that is the zippers, the pockets, and the small areas here that are isolated by maybe a strap. And so to do this, what I've done is I've loaded my platen into my heat press. And so we use the Fusion a lot here for printing items, especially if you're getting into more diversity like a lot of different bags. The Fusion, as you guys know, has a very narrow base through here, so it's going to allow me a lot of opportunity for threading different items, changing out interchangeable platens. So I've taken our large 16 by 20 and I've loaded in just a small 4 by 4 platen. Now that I have that loaded in there, I can simply open up my bag here and load it directly onto my platen. So the way I've chose to do this is to be able to get a perfect print. I went ahead and isolated the print area. This 4 by 4 is going to allow those straps to fall off from the platen as well as the zipper here, but I wasn't able to actually thread directly through this pocket, but I'm not worried about that liner sticking together, so this still does a perfect application. Once I have that loaded on there and a nice flat print area, I can now line up my transfer. Now, if I decide to go to a 4 by 4 platen like I have done here, I want to be careful to make sure that I'm also getting my transfer onto that 4 by 4 platen here. So I'm going to just fill and make sure I'm in the right space. For this transfer, I've cut it about 3.5 inches by 3 1/4. That way I know it's going to fit on that 4 by 4 platen, gives me a little bit of room to grow. I don't want to go completely up to 4 inches. Cover this with a cover sheet just to protect it, and then I can press it for the recommended application. This is Cad Cut Glitter Flake, which has been cut on a vinyl cutter. So I'm applying it for 10 seconds at 300 degrees. You can peel back the carrier there. And then when I was choosing a color, because whenever you start to print prints like this to add personalization to, there's obviously a lot of busyness to the print. We saw that in a lot of these personalized items. So I chose a color that was solid and would stand off like a silver, a white, a black. Those colors tend to work best on these types of items. And then I just did a large monogram block, but there's a big opportunity for adding personalization through monogramming or any name to these types of bags in those single colors. So pretty fast, pretty easy. And then you can take these printables for any Make It Monday. What we did is we isolated the print location to get zippers, seams, all of that off the platen, chose a material that stood out for the market we were printing for, and then easily heat pressed it with our Fusion press. So that's been Make It Monday. I'm going to head back over to the table to join Josh and jump in on our main discussion for today.
Good work on that bag.
Thanks, it was quite fun.
Yeah. So today's main discussion, and if you're joining us, whether it's through GoToWebinars, always feel free to chat in questions, or if you're on Facebook Live and you have questions about anything that's been completed so far, please chat those in. If we don't get a chance to answer them during the episode, we certainly will jump on Facebook afterwards and type responses to all of your questions. Today's core topic is marketing and sales and trends for 2017 relative to that. So we have a piece of a presentation that was given in a whole trends class that we did at the end of 2016, and we want to jump in specifically to the marketing and sales point. So the first thing we want to call out here is that a lot of these trends were taken from a much larger report that happened at the Internet Codes Conference. It was like a 300-page report conducted by Mary Meeker. And then if you go over to the computer screen, there's a full link here, kpcb.com/internet trends if you want to download the full report. What we did is we scoured this report and pulled out the trends that we felt were most relevant to you, the viewer, and the apparel decorator. So without further ado, let's go to the first trend. And that is millennials, or folks ages 15 to 34, now represent the largest generation in the U.S., and their spending power is expected to rise significantly over the next 10 to 20 years.
Right, and I think that's going to change the way we sell products and the way we reach customers, as we'll see throughout today's morning show. But there's a big opportunity to want to reach this audience and take a hold of this buying power.
Yeah, and then when you combine that with a couple just sort of trends here, is that internet advertising is growing substantially. So if your business is not out online at the moment, number one is you need to get your business online. And secondly, you really need to look at how you're spending your ad dollars. We're seeing the trend that's been reported is that internet advertising growth is up 20%, number one, and 66% of that growth is due to mobile. So we can take a lesson from that as well, that if our websites are not a responsive design, if they cannot be accessed with a good user experience on a mobile device or a tablet, that's a piece of homework, is to make sure you get your site mobile friendly.
Yeah, and I think it's actually easy to do. I think a lot of decorators in the past were afraid that you had to have a mobile app to be able to do purchasing, but it's easy to get a website platform that kind of converts down to the mobile site.
Yeah, so if you're set up on like Shopify or any other e-commerce provider, look for a template that's responsive. Next, when we look at, so we have this large buying group, we have the trend in internet advertising, specifically to mobile, and then we sort of dive a little bit deeper into the advertising growth online, and we see that 76% of the share is due to Google and Facebook growth. Specifically Facebook, you're looking in the middle of the chart there of 59% in growth year on year in ad dollars spent on Facebook, and a very substantial 18% year on year for Google, who's a pretty well established advertising platform that's been around for a while. So there obviously must be some effect, some impact that advertisers are having specifically online with Google and Facebook to drive this growth.
Yeah, people definitely want to spend their money where they're seeing return, and I think Google and Facebook both allow those opportunities through personalization, as we'll see.
Yeah, and so you also want to advertise, not only, we'll get into personalization, but you want to talk about where is this large buying group spending the majority of their time. And you may say the millennial buying group is not my audience today, but it could be the audience of the business tomorrow. And so it's very important to understand how to make your products and your messaging relevant to this group. And we see that when we look at social network engagement leaders out there, Facebook is far and away the number one as far as where this age group is spending the majority of their minutes, the majority of their time.
Yeah, people are definitely using Facebook especially to get onto multiple times a day. And so I think if I'm a business owner and I want my products to be seen or I want my products to be talked about, there's a big opportunity for engaging with my customers either through ads or just through a pure page and getting my name and my face out there, because they're logging on there multiple times a day. There's hundreds or millions of people that get onto this site every day. And so it's where they're getting their news, it's where they're finding out about products, it's where they're getting reviews on products. It's the main place people are going to find information about where they want to buy.
Yeah, and it just makes sense. If you were doing traditional advertising, whether it's a billboard or whether you're picking a location for a store, you'd be asking questions about foot traffic or how many times it will be viewed. And so the same concept applies for online advertising. You want to spend your ad dollars where you can spend them wisely, and also where the potential audience is spending their time. So that's an interesting chart. A couple other things I want to point out about that chart is the growth you'll see of Snapchat and Instagram and even Pinterest, which is not a new platform, but relatively new in the grand scheme of things. You'll see a lot of growth, and this is reach just for this particular demographic. Next is we take sort of that information, and the headline here is personalized is more than products. So we're in the personalization industry where we're making personalized products or low quantity custom heat printed items for potential customers. But in a similar sense, there is personalization that can happen in the advertising process, in your sales and marketing process. And the reason we're seeing Facebook and Google grow so much is because it allows personalization like none other, and also Instagram. We're seeing a lot of that as well. So when you consider, the chart that was published in the report is, products, brands, retailers are on the rise, and they're on the rise because always on connectivity. So what does that mean? That means that basically everybody's connected through their mobile phone all of the time and always able to view products. Next is hyper-targeted marketing, meaning someone's connected, I can basically create an offer and target a specific user based on the demographic info, based on their profile when they register for those sites. And then another key point, not to be understated, is images and the impact that they have on selling product, bringing your product to life through good photography, good videos, product visuals. So basically connecting all of these things can make a successful campaign, whether that's through email, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google AdWords, Snapchat geofilters. There's a lot of different ways in 2017 that you can target your offer to a specific customer type.
Right, and so for all of the Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google AdWords, all of that allows decorators. The reason we're seeing such a rise is for the targeting. So if I'm in a specific location and I'm selling spirit wear, I can specifically target to people that are in that 14 to 20 age range. They're in the 90-mile radius of my location. I can make an ad show up there just to those people, and so I'm not overspending for an advertisement on maybe television that's going to reach everybody in that geographic area and is not going to maximize my dollars. Now I can change my spend a little bit, get where I want to get. And one of the cool things about personalizing the offer for Facebook, Instagram, and even Google AdWords is the ability to pause, change, and make real live changes when you need to. So you're not locked into a specific dollar amount or a specific time period. I can now start to sell what makes sense for me and what I have available in my budget easily to my audience.
Yeah, you can tailor it based on capacity, but it all starts, in my opinion, with a solid sales and marketing strategy. So understanding, start with the customer. I always say start with the customer. Who is your customer? Where are they spending their time? And then how can I craft an offer that appeals to them? And then figuring out how to connect that offer to that audience through marketing or through sales calls, whatever it may be. What that's going to do, not only is it going to help you get a better return on investment for your ad dollars, it's going to help you connect a more relevant product to the audience, which means I should be able to sell that at a higher price. There should be less negotiation and price pressure in the process, which ultimately leads to more profitable sales for the business. So that's the overarching concept and why you would want to do this. So if we go back to the chart, let's take a look at a couple examples that were provided in the report of hyper-targeted marketing as far as rendering products to specific audiences. The one on the right is some custom Star Wars socks that were created by the company Stahls, and they were rendered out to a specific group through Instagram. So you see the socks are targeted to a very specific group that would be very interested in the product. You see a good use of imagery as far as how the ad is represented. And so you connect this imagery and this product offering to the audience, and you start to get a return. So they saw a 36% boost to return on ad spend by targeting in this way.
Yeah, and I think 2017 we'll see a lot more people using Instagram for ads as well, now that Facebook and Instagram ads allow you to easily integrate with one platform and kind of share the ads out on both places. But it was really important on how they chose an audience with the Star Wars based on what they wanted, what they liked, what they saw, and how they respond to things on their profile. So maybe they follow some Star Wars pages, maybe there's some blogs that they follow or something like that. And then they took an image that was relevant to them and that would catch their attention, so that makes them stop and want to look at it, and then drove the messaging in for that as well.
Yeah, and there's nothing radical here about the approach. If you're not familiar with online advertising at this point, it would be the same concept. If you're going out to sell to a bank or a financial institution, odds are you're going to take products that are relevant to them, samples that are relevant to them, and show them. So that's just sales 101 as far as making the product appeal to the audience. But for those of us that are sort of trying to grow into online advertising and we don't have that experience, where would you recommend that somebody start to accomplish that? If they're watching the morning show this morning and they're like, whoa, this is beyond what I've been doing, I'd like to get there, but where do I start?
I think it really just starts with understanding your audience, what and the products you want to sell to them. So for me, I use children's apparel a lot because I spend a lot of time right now looking at children's apparel. But if I'm looking at that market, then I want to find first off my audience. So I want to define the audience that I'm selling to. They're going to be moms. They're going to be people with children. They may be in that age range of 18 to 34 that we saw in that millennial audience. So I want to define that audience, and then what product am I selling to them? It's probably going to be onesies or birthday shirts or something to that effect that's going to stop and drive traffic or stop and grab their attention as they're scrolling through their news feeds. And then I can craft my messaging from there. And obviously I want to drive it back to my website. So a website's important so they can make purchases or attach a phone number or something where they can call and order a personalized product that they see in the ad.
Yeah, so and then that really goes to if you're not sure how to do all of that, figure out where your core strength is. As a owner or a employee in your business, and figure out what gaps you need to fill. And certainly one way to grow and get your brand online is to look for some way to outsource it or find a freelancer or a company that can handle marketing your business on Facebook and managing that for you. It does require a time investment. It requires active management to do it properly. But the nice thing is the ad dollars go a long way. So if you can get the right connection to sort of help you promote your products to those audiences, I think it'll make all the difference in profitable business growth. And then you can focus on whatever role or task in the business you are good at. Let's go to the next slide here. And a couple things that we want to talk about is the way we shop is changing. And so the next couple slides are just basically about the changing market. We've talked a little bit about targeting specific offers, but on Facebook and Instagram, whatever it may be, this will tell you how users use the various social media platforms to shop, and Pinterest is by far and away most often used for finding products and shopping. When someone has this specific task of going to buy, often the Pinterest audience is looking to buy when they're searching.
Right, and we see a lot of people, I think we shared on the Pinterest episode of the morning show, but they buy 3 separate things on Pinterest or what they're looking for. It's crafts, it's fashion, so it's apparel, and then also food. But 2 of those are directly related to the decorated apparel industry and what we sell to. And so there's a lot of opportunity here for more opportunities with targeted ads. So again, just like we see with Facebook and Instagram, I can create targeted ads on Pinterest. I can add pricing that allows people to easily see my product and drive them to my website to make a purchase.
Yeah, so Pinterest is a great place. And then I think that's also when you say, where am I actually going to sell the products, you can drive to your website. The Pinterest audience, you said crafts and fashion, happens to match the audience that is shopping on Etsy. So the idea is if you don't have an e-commerce platform and you're looking to sell products, most people are probably familiar with Etsy at this point, but the fact that handmade products, which applies to the products you're making with your heat press, can be listed on Etsy, and you can ultimately use that to handle the transaction and also get products listed in their marketplace. You give up a few percentage points on the sale, but you get access to an e-commerce platform that already has a built-in audience that's searching for products like what you sell. All right, so next one is, let's talk about, this is just a quick one that we threw in that was interesting from the report. Referencing basically you get higher engagement with personalized images. And so the story on this one is, you see how it's used in House or Sketch, where you're actually seeing products in the room. We can take this visualization concept and apply it to customized goods in that virtual samples sell. If you can allow customers to see the design on the shirt as part of the buying process, whether that's on the website or through you creating a virtual sample and emailing that to them. It's been proven in other industries, other markets, that the conversion rate will be much higher when you can personalize the image to the customer.
Yeah, definitely people are more drawn to products that are personalized for them and that kind of grab their attention. So if I'm thinking in my head it's going to be a black shirt with this design on it, I may not really be able to see the benefit of having my design, my logo on that shirt, and that would help to kind of drive the sell. Yeah,
I always say make it come to life for the customer. It's, we're visual people in general, so the more you can make that project, whatever it might be, come to life, the more likely they're going to be to buy. All right, next, and I love this one, is the way we talk is changing. And this, if we do a little zoom here, you notice based on the generation, this is the popularity of business contacts specifically by age, and how does that generation want to be communicated with based on the response of this survey. And interesting enough, Generation Y, which I'm happy to say I fall into, I'm on the top edge, but
Barely.
I do fall into, right, is that we want to be communicated with typically through web chat, social media. You see even electronic messaging. Telephone is the 5th choice. And so this is helpful not only with how you look to grow your customer base based on who you sell to, but the customer experience. Once you line up a particular customer, how do they want to be communicated with? So Generation X differs greatly from Generation Y.
Yeah, if I'm calling on somebody that maybe is a customer, maybe the decision maker or the audience I'm selling to is more of the Generation Y, then I may be picking up the phone every month or a couple months to make touch base with them. But if I'm reaching out to somebody who's Generation Y and even further into the millennials as they drive into this marketplace, I'm going to probably be more of emails or social media posts or communicating with them in that way.
Yeah, you don't really want to be disruptive to your customer base with the communication. It should be a seamless experience. You do want to have the ability to connect with them and want them to hear messaging from your brand. So being sure to figure out who your customers are and how they wish to be communicated with can make a huge difference in customer loyalty and how likely they are to respond or stay engaged with the brand. All right, let's go to our final slide of today's sort of glimpse into the trends, and that's video is evolving, as evidenced by the way we're broadcasting right now.
Brought to you on Facebook Live. So I think the more that these types of things become available, the more that this is the way the market's going. People want to see products. We talked a little bit about visualization and virtual samples. I mean, video right now is giving people a way to see products that you sell. They're able to see their products being made, and it just completely changes the way we interact and what we expect from the people that we buy from.
Yeah, this drives engagement and interest to another level. I mean, first off, photography is extremely important, but when you talk about being able to present products that you offer through live video, it changes the game. So obviously we broadcast live here on Facebook and through GoToWebinar to try to allow you to interact with the morning show and other live classes every week. But as an apparel decorator, when you start talking about how can I use Facebook Live to grow my sales, you can start to think about, setting up at a table and showcasing different decoration techniques. If you decide to make a buy from wholesale boutique or whatever supplier where you're bringing in new product, showing the latest styles and offers that are available in your business. Perhaps showing a new color offering or a glitter finish or a type of finish that you normally don't offer or that's new to the business. Even things like clearing out products that may be on the shelf. If you have garments that you stock for decoration that you're ready to move on from those styles, being able to offer a special and go live on Facebook.
Yeah, I see two big opportunities. Facebook, specifically the video platform there, allows decorators to not have any challenges. It's so simple to take a video with your iPhone of maybe some new products and upload that. And so if I upload a video onto my Facebook page, it's there forever. I can use it for promoting through an ad. I can just use it as a post to engage with my audience. And then there's Facebook Live, which we're on here now. But that, I think, just is incredible for an opportunity with flash sales or with showing new products. And the goal for those videos where I'm on Facebook Live is to try to stay on as long as possible so you can get more people tuning in through their news feed and really seeing the products that you're showing. So being able to have a larger product offering to show in those Facebook Live videos and what you want to clear out or show that's new.
Good. Yeah, so I think those are some of the way the market is evolving. And so the question for you, the viewer, the apparel decorator, is how will your business change in 2017? Hopefully throughout the last 3 morning shows and also our trend report, you've been able to get inspired not only with different decoration and design types, different blank apparel that you'll bring in, but ultimately how you will communicate the offer to your customer base. What will you do differently? And so that's really the challenge to you from Stahls TV. We're on this road with you. We want to help to make you successful, and that's why we share these tips and broadcast the morning show and go through all of this effort. But we hope that throughout this process that you're inspired to try something new and different for your business to ultimately make it more successful this year than it has been in previous years. You think that was it?
Absolutely.
You think that was a good close?
That
You're
was
just ready
it.
to
Yeah,
roll
you
on
are
that.
quite the closer.
Any questions? Yeah, thank you. Any questions coming in, Taylor?
Relevant to decorating hard to decorate items, we had a watcher ask if what kind of heat transfer vinyl would apply to rain jackets like the Charles River styles that are popular.
You want to take that, or you want me to
It's up to you. You want me to take it?
go for it?
All right. So that sometimes can be challenging. It depends on what the jacket is made of. If it's a polyester or a nylon. One other thing to always keep in mind when you're looking at rain jackets is they tend to have a waterproof coating on them that can make decoration challenging. So we've had success printing some from places like Pennant Sportswear or Augusta Sportswear, but I've also seen some challenges with some brands that have a specific topical coating on them. And it depends on how the coating is manufactured. If the coating is or the waterproof coating is within the fabrics whenever they're manufactured versus it being topical and placed on afterwards. So I would test a product maybe like with a strong adhesive like Catgut Gorilla Grip or Super Tech, anything from the Stahls Tech line that has a stronger adhesive, run it through a few wash cycles to confirm that it's going to still last with that waterproof coating.
Yeah, I'll say, the traditional rain jacket can be a nightmare. Often they're manufactured a polyurethane-based material as well, which is extremely heat sensitive. I would start by determining the customer's expectation. Typically, rain jackets aren't really laundered that much, so you may be able to get by with something that just sticks and stays, rather than something that needs to go through 20, 30, 50 wash cycles. So as far as sticking and staying, just test the heat sensitivity of the jacket before selecting your product. If you need durability, there's no way we can guarantee a particular film and test all the different variables, but you're right, Gorilla Grip 2 would be a great place to start. All right, any other questions, Taylor? All right, no additional questions. If you are asking questions on Facebook Live, we're working to sort of get that integrated so we can see those questions during our live broadcast. So hopefully in future weeks, we'll be able to answer those live on air. But for now, once we end today's session, we'll go on Facebook Live and continue to chat with you and answer questions. So as always, thanks for watching the Stahls TV Morning Show. We'll talk to you next week.